Today I'm going to talk about what is the biggest block when it comes to self-awareness, in my opinion. Many people spend most of their time reading about other people, reading about practices, what self-awareness is. They imagine it as there is some bright light, or they will feel these positive things. It's generally positive, positive, positive. That if you really think about it, it's really an overcorrection of the way they feel. They feel negative, they feel miserable, maybe they feel disgusting, and that's how they try to overcorrect. That when they get to this ideal stage, they will become perfect and pure, just as this God figure or creator figure is. There is no fault, and they have this delusional idea. And this is where the biggest problem is. Because first of all, they imagine wholeness, or they imagine their awakening, that it's just perfect and there is no faults in it. So already this idea shows that all probabilities don't exist, only the perfect ones exist. And the second problem here is that when you think about self-awareness, it means that you become aware of something that you haven't seen before. It was hidden from you. So what that means is that you have absolutely no idea what you are going to find because you don't have the awareness of it. But when you have this mentality that you already have a goal, you already have an idea that doesn't fit this, because if you already decided what you are going to find, what is hidden from you, in reality, you might actually won't see the reality of your hidden part, because you have already decided what you are going to find, and you are going to filter out and push everything away that would really help you, because you focus on something that you already decided what you are willing to accept to be found, what you are willing to accept that this is going to be you, this is going to be the road. And if anything else comes up, you say no to it. And this is where the stupidity of our adult self is. Because this is this adult self, these beta and alpha brainwaves, this social part of the vagus nerve, that we are a finished product, and this part of the nervous system is really goal-oriented. It's really perfectionistic. It already knows what to look for. It pushes and represses everything out. That it's very, very judgmental. And this is where the biggest roadblock is. And the overcorrection of that would be the child self that is at the back of the body. So this is the social part of the vagus nerve. This is our final stage as a human, but we have a previous one, and that's where connected to the mammalian part. This is the child self that is connected to the theta brainwaves, and it really connects to the impulses, these raw parts that we see as disgusting because they are in this child self, because we have repressed them. We label them as negative. We label them as unacceptable. We neglected this version of ourselves. And this part constantly keeps talking to you. This is your internal guidance. It keeps talking to you that please listen to me. But we keep repressing this repressed part back because we keep seeing it as negative. And this is where the block is. That we decided this is the goal, this doesn't match it, so you can't exist. I don't accept you, you don't match this idealized state this delusional idea. But what we can do instead, that we actually connect back to this child self. We listen to these impulses, because maybe when we see them as a repressed part, they are going to be kind of weird. They can be shocking. They can disgust you, because this is going to be like your complete opposite that you have created as an idea in yourself. And you will be like, oh my God, like I never really thought I could do the very things. Or what are these thoughts? What are these impulses? I can't have them in me. I don't want to embody this version of myself. And that's when you repress this child self back. But if you allow this child self to come up and you allow to embody this version, then you can actually help this child self to grow up. This is what true self-awareness is. That when we were growing up, we had to make decisions based on the awareness level, what we had at times. So when you were in the reptile level, you didn't have these two upper parts and you broke apart. Then according to that, you made other decisions when you were in this mammalian level, and you made decisions, but you couldn't connect to all parts because it was impossible, because you didn't have this top part yet that could have helped you to integrate. And then when you move forward, that was the same thing again, that you had to make these decisions, which means that at certain parts of your awareness system, you are very, very active, but it came at a cost of neglecting or repressing certain parts within yourself because you didn't have another choice. And now you are the adult. You don't depend on an adult. You have the freedom to re-examine these parts and have these parts to grow up. Nurturing, I can't even pronounce, nurturing these parts. Listen to them. So basically you go back to this child self, who you used to be, and you listen to these repressed parts, what they are trying to show you. And when you let them to grow up, they can really show you a way of seeing reality that you have never ever imagined. And the reason I'm saying this, because this is exactly what I have done. This is how I had my Kundalini awakening. That I got connected to really, really negative things. I got really dragged down. I was this really, really judgmental person, because this is how my society was. Everybody judged everyone. These typical covert narcissists. That's Eastern Europe, by the way, for you. That everyone has an opinion of everyone has to behave the best way, everyone has to follow the rules, and because you repress this part, it comes out as anger, and this anger turns into this judgment. You have to let that anger out somehow, but because anger is seen as negative, that's why people just have these negative thoughts and judgment about everyone. And you have, or I had, this really, really high standard that I thought, oh, I was just so much better than everyone else because I just followed all the moral codes, this extremely ethical thing. And this is how reality has the ability to really show you your true colors. And your true colors is that everyone is equal, and everything you see outside of you, it's actually within you as well. And I got so dragged down. I turned into a version of myself that I just couldn't accept, that the things I always saw outside of myself, the people I was the most judgmental about, that's the type of person I was turned into. And that really showed me that I was really wrong, because you can really understand a person when you become that very person. You can see them internally. And as a final note, just to really show how an impulse can really change when it grows up, it's when I met my twin flame. That was at the end of 2014. You have to know that the twin flame connection is really connected to this energetic part, to the body or to the mammalian system that works in a way that opposites attract. And when opposites attract, it can really bring up very, very deep wounds within you. And the wounds will manifest in a way of obsession, that maybe you go towards the person more, or maybe you run away from the person more. So it's different for everyone because we are individuals. And for me, it came up as obsession. So I used to be an avoidant, a fearful avoidant before, very, very much. And I got dragged into my own opposite, which is an anxious, preoccupied. And that was a huge problem for me, because before I could very easily walk away from a relationship, and now I felt that I was stuck. I had these extreme panic attacks, kind of things, when the separation anxiety, when my boyfriend wasn't around. And this really, really shocked me. I hated the situation. I hated myself. I hated how weak I was. Because before I had this inner strength that I was so independent. I could walk away from any pain, from anything. And I felt that I became such an opposite version of myself, such a doormat. And I absolutely hated this version of myself that was completely brand new to me. But in reality, I used to be this version of myself when I was a child. And this is how your self-awareness can go back to embody something that you left behind. And certain parts can really, really get triggered in you. So when I was in this relationship, I got really, really connected to this sexual energy, and I really hated that. Because before, like, I could really remember, like, I was this overly self-controlling person, and now I lost control completely. And I couldn't really wrap my head around these things. But this sexual compulsion that really, really came out actually changed. And this is exactly what I really want to share, that if you see something that is shocking and you just can't understand yourself, don't try to repress. You of course have to have a boundary that you don't hurt others, but be patient with yourself for a while. Because, for example, this really, really negative part of me, or I saw it as negative, actually changed during time. So it kind of comes from the reptile part, and then it goes towards, it integrates to the mammalian part, because the reptile part has this sexual energy, and the love part, it really, really turned into deep love. So it kind of connected to that, and it went even forward, connecting to the head. So this is how I was able to connect all of these parts. And that created a very, very deep connection to my partner, such a deep connection that I could never experience before. And that sexual compulsion part actually changed into this. I didn't have to do anything. It changed on its own. It just needed time. And it even went beyond this, because this new energetic part that integrated within me, integrated within these three parts, went all the way up to the head. That helped me to have a Kundalini awakening and channel lots of information from other realities. And on top of it, it also helped me to connect to people, to loved ones from my past lives, who were able to help me to move forward in my self-awareness journey because they became aware of things that I was still not aware of. And one of the biggest things that kept repeating in this self-awareness journey from information that I got from these other beings, from other realities, it was that I can't even pronounce it. They were constantly breaking my self-beliefs, the things that I was 100% sure that they were true. And they kept breaking them. And as time passed, I always had to realize that they were true, even though I really didn't want to accept it. I didn't really want to believe it. So, in conclusion, how to overcome this biggest block to become self aware? You have to forget your goal mindset. You have to become open, and your only goal is that you find out the truth. But the truth means all bad, all good. And when you become self aware, you will see that they are the same. There is absolutely no difference. It was only your limitation that you've seen a difference between good and bad. See you in my next video.